What's up everyone, Jordio here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the Nintendo 3DS and why it is so expensive right now. It came up in a conversation with several of my friends and thought I would make a video about it. As you can probably tell by my visual aids here, I am quite the 3DS connoisseur. I am very familiar with these things. Fortunately, I got the models that I wanted when the getting was good. Let's go ahead and get into this discussion. For the uninitiated, the Nintendo 3DS was released in 2011 as a successor to the popular DS and DSi line. It didn't sell very well in the beginning, but Nintendo kept at it. They lowered the price, kept keeping things fresh with more software and new models and stuff like that. And that kind of gets into the first reason why people like these things, is that they're so iconic, and Nintendo supported the system very well. It wasn't discontinued until 2020, so that's 9 years of sales. That's pretty awesome. When you compare that to the Vita, it didn't sell to Sony's expectations, so they just kind of let it die a slow, quiet death, which is unfortunate, but that's how it is. So that's pretty much one of the reasons why these things are so expensive right now is they're just awesome systems. There's something for everyone. We got the original one that they released, the aqua blue model. This is the XL model that they released with a bigger screen. A lot of fans asked for that. This one's actually on borrow right now from Joaquin, aka Waking with the Mask. By the way, if you're watching this, I need to arrange getting this back to you. This one's also from my friend Magnus Gamer. Donated this one, restored it to working condition, and I'm very glad to have this in my collection. The 2DS was an interesting one. This one did not include the iconic 3D feature, and it was sort of meant for kids. This one is one that I modded, the Super Mario Maker one, and I didn't like the brown tones, so I replaced it with some yellow parts that I got from a Japanese unit. So, and then we've got the new series that included new CPUs, new screens. This one I saw at Walmart and I just had to get it with the replaceable faceplates, which I hope you can see in the camera there. Just had to have this one. I got the Mario edition, so I got some additional faceplates as well. This one is probably my unicorn. This one is the new 3DS XL. So it's got pretty much everything, the 3D screen, the largest screen, the new CPU. And then this one here is the 2DS XL. So it's a 2DS, like it doesn't have the 2D screen, but it's got the CPU and all the other awesome stuff that these two have. So yeah, they were discontinued in 2020, and that gets into the next reason why these things are so expensive right now, and that's pretty much basic supply and demand. There's only so many of them that were sold. A lot of them were sold, but they're no longer being sold new. So what's out there is a new old stock that's probably being inflated by people on eBay, or people might still have their old ones, but they realize if they're going to sell it, they want to get their money's worth for them, so they're going to sell them for what people are willing to pay. So that's pretty much the deal there. The other situation that makes these really purchasable right now is Nintendo 3DS systems happen to be very, very hackable. We have boot ROM exploits for the 3DS, which basically means that you can always hack this thing. Nintendo can't patch the boot ROM problem that the 3DSs have, so it will always have an entry point to be able to run unlicensed software or modifications on it. And that's really, really cool. In fact, all of my systems that I have in my possession right now are all hacked. This one right here is running a mod called Red Viper. Red Viper is an emulator someone made that lets you play Virtual Boy games. Now think about that for a second. The Virtual Boy was a failed 3D system that Nintendo marketed in the 90s, but this is a 3DS. It's got a 3D screen, so you would have thought Nintendo would have released some Virtual Boy games on a system like this, but they did not. So Red Viper lets you play Virtual Boy games in stereoscopic 3D if you're into that sort of thing. There's a whole bunch of other stuff you can do once you jailbreak, if you will, your 3DS. I've even made a list here. So you can run software from any region, for one. You can run Japanese software, you can run European software. That you can basically remove all region locks from your 3DS. You can back up your games to your SD card. So that's another thing that's going on right here is I have pretty much all of my games stored on my SD card, including my physical ones. Because as you can see, I like to buy physical games. I like to have the actual thing. So, but when I take my 3DS places, I don't want to risk losing my 3DS and my games. That would really, really suck. So you can back up your games to your SD card and just run them from your SD card, which is fantastic. You can also back up and move your save data if you want to. For some reason, that's just something you can't do on the Nintendo Switch at all. And on the 3DS, you can sort of back up some save data, but it's kind of wonky using the built-in method. So there's some tools that let you do whatever you want with your save data, which is really nice. You can get custom themes on your system because the theme shop's been shut down, the official way to get themes. But even better, you can run software from anywhere. And that is really cool because there are several mods that people have made. So lately I've been checking out this mod called Sunset Shores rather. It's a modification of New Super Mario Bros. 2. So it adds some new levels and some new music and other cool stuff like that. There's also CTGP 7, which is a mod of Mario Kart 7, which adds some new tracks and fixes some weird bugs that Nintendo left in their version of the game. So yeah, you can run modifications, you can run software from anywhere. And when I say software from anywhere, I literally mean anywhere. I was showing off this application deliberately. So this is something called the H Shop. Now, I'm going to tell you, I really don't know why this is still a thing. What it is basically essentially a replacement for the Nintendo eShop. On here, I'm going to have to update it, looks like. But on here, you can basically access pretty much all the games that the eShop had, all the updates, all the DLC, and there's no paywall. I have no idea where the downloads are coming from. And, I'm not a pirate myself. I actually do buy games. But if you have some games that you were wanting to try, there's kind of a way right now that you can do that really easily by getting H-Shop on here. So that kind of replaces the Nintendo eShop. Since they shut it down, you can just use that. So, yeah. The other thing too is hackers have found ways to restore online play. So that was something else Nintendo killed off. It was famously free on the 3DS, but they discontinued it. And there's some new services, I think it's called Pretendo. Yeah, Pretendo, that you can get on the 3DS to restore online play with your friends and other people. And it's pretty cool. The community has some really good cheating protection, which is really, really nice. Nintendo's cheating protection wasn't all that great. And also, they've knocked down the region blocks. So, for example, in Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes, you could not play, like if here in America, I couldn't play with a Japanese player and vice versa. So now that barrier has been blocked down or knocked down. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. These are very iconic. Nintendo released some very, very awesome systems. Right now we're looking at the one of the Zelda limited edition ones, when I saw this, I just had to have it. It was a GameStop exclusive. So I'm very, very happy to have this in my collection. And in case some of you are wondering, this one is a unicorn. It is one of the models that has the IPS screen on the top and the bottom. You can probably tell by the side view there, there's no white line that you get on the ones with the TN panel. Well, it's kind of hard to see there. But anyway, those that know about the 3DS screen lottery know what I'm talking about. Because that's one of the quality issues with these things, is that on the newer models, they started using newer screens, but not on all of them. And it's hard to tell which ones have which screen. I do have one suggestion for those still looking to get a 3DS, but you're wondering about the price, or you just really, it just really sucks for you that you have to pay so much for the one you want to get. And that suggestion is look into the Japanese ones. This one that we're looking at right here is actually a Japanese new Nintendo 2DS LL, as they call it in Japan. And I specifically got this one because I wanted to mod it. I've modded so many 3DS systems, and I knew that it was possible to change the language and get it to run US software. So for the uninitiated, Japanese 3DSs only work in Japanese. They don't have a setting that lets you change the language. Even if you go to the same place where you can change the language in the US version, it offers no language options, which I think is really stupid because English is used in Japan. I mean, not everyone uses it as their primary language, but it's used there. So I feel like that's probably a region lock tactic, but consider getting a Japanese one. If you're brave enough to try hacking it, I recommend going to 3ds.hacks.guide is I believe the website, and you're willing to do a region change on it. One of the things that would not work usually with region changes is the eShop would usually be permanently broken. But now that we have the 8-shop, that's kind of not a problem. So yeah, I modified this one to run all of my software, and I got it basically so I wouldn't have to put so much wear on this beautiful thing. That's pretty much the only reason I got this, is so I can practice changing the region on it, and this is the one I grab and take everywhere. The other ones just sit around looking beautiful. Anyway, so yeah, if you're brave enough to hack one, Japanese models tend to be a lot cheaper. Not too much cheaper, but especially if you're looking for like new ones, the Japanese ones tend to be very well taken care of. Even their used ones, they tend to be very well taken care of compared to how we take care of our stuff here in the States. We just love to get our stuff all grimy and damaged, scratched, and stuff like that. So look into getting a Japanese one if you're willing to change the language on it and, run the hacks to make it run your software. Because once you do that, it's going to run just fine. I've run into no problems hacking my 3DSs, and including this Japanese one, and everything works just fine, just as I expected. Anyway, folks, that's all I wanted to talk about today about the 3DS. If you like this kind of stuff, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new here, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the 3DS and whether or not you're going to get one. If you do have one, what model you have. Love to hear what you have to say. Take care, folks. See you soon.